Sir.
In 20 minutes. People are interested.
Good evening to all of you, sirs. I request DFIE, Chairman IEI TSC. To start the program. Before that, I am going to invite the other dignitaries also. Dr. S. Satyanarayana, FIE, Council Member IEI, past chairman, and also the convener of this event. And Dr. K. Srinivasa Rao, Professor, Indian Institute of Risk Management, IIRM Hyderabad, the speaker of today's program, and other speakers, Dr. Jaideep R. Joshi, FIE, Program Leader, Isha, DRDO Hyderabad, Sri Anant Jananha, Regional Manager, Canara Bank, Regional Office Hyderabad, Engineer K. Sudhir Reddy, President, Telangana Industrialist Federation, and Gopal Rao Garu, Secretary, Distinguished Scientist and Director, DRDL. Sir, I request all of you please join for this online program, sir. Before starting the program, I request to start the program with the invocation. Vande Mataram. Please pray the Vande Mataram.
Vande Mataram. Pulakitayamini Pullakusumita Drumadala Shobhini Suhasini Sumadhura Bhashini Sukhadam Varadam Mataram Vande Mataram Vande Mataram.
Now I request Chairman IEI TSC to present his welcome address. Sir, please, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Subhagara. Respected Chief Guest, Dr. Dasarath Ram Yadavji, Distinguished Scientist and Director, DRDL, Special Guest, Engineer K. Sudhir Reddy Garu, President, Telangana Industrialist Federation, and today's eminent speakers, Dr. Srinivasa Rao Garu, Professor, IIRM Hyderabad, and Dr. Jaideep R. Joshi, Program Leader, Kusha, DRDO Hyderabad, Sri Anant Jelona, Regional Manager, Canara Bank, Hyderabad, Dr. S. Satyanarayana, Council Member and past Chairman of Institution of Engineers India, Telangana State Center, and Convener of the event, Dr. G. Venkat Subbaya, FIE, Honorary Secretary, Telangana State Center, Engineer Gopal Rao Garu, Secretary, Telangana Industrialist Federation, Hyderabad, Dr. R. Krishnamurthy Garu, Director of DRDL, past presidents, galaxy of eminent personalities, immediate past chairman, past vice presidents, past chairman, council members, committee members of Institution of Engineers India, Telangana State Center, corporate members of Institution of Engineers India, media friends, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all of you. It gives immense pleasure to extend a warm and hearty welcome to all of you to this popular lecture on a very important, vital, and interesting topic on role of MSMEs in achieving $5 trillion economy for India, to be delivered by Dr. Sri Srinivas Rao Garu, Dr. Jay Garu, and Sri Anant Jelonaj. We are very fortunate to have eminent personality, Dr. Dasarath Ram Jadavji, as our chief guest, and stalwart engineer K. Sudhir Reddy Garu as a special guest. We thank them for sparing their valuable time to be among us in this important event. I am glad to inform that the Institution of Engineers is the largest multidisciplinary professional body encompassing 15 engineering disciplines with about 8 lakh membership, and it gives India portal for ease of doing business and no global tenders for procurement of Rs 200 crore. Capital markets, arbitrage, investment banking, Indian Wall Street will make India hit $5 trillion number. Kirana store won't make India hit that number. 40% of US GDP is created by financial services, arbitrage, and investment banking. India need to learn from US GDP's ingredients to learn the secret sauces instead of putting all of achieving that number on through Government of India, building a digital first strategy for MSMEs. They tend to have weaker supply chain capabilities and lower uptake. I firmly believe he will be enlightened how the schemes have been done by this end of the program from the speakers. I am sure at the end of this webinar, we will find an answer to the questions. How can MSMEs access finance for growth? Since you are anxious and here to our eminent speakers, I'm limiting myself and hope you will really enjoy their lectures. Lastly, on behalf of the Institution of Business India, Telangana State Center, on my own behalf, I once again extend a hearty welcome to all of you to this important virtual event. Thank you, one and all. I request Dr. S. Satyanarayana, convener of the event, to kindly say about the theme of this popular lecture.
Good afternoon. Presiding Officer, Engineer Brahma Reddy. Today Chief Guest, Dr. Dasarath Ram Yadav sir. Speakers of today's theme, Dr. K. Srinivas Rao garu, Dr. Jaitir R. Joshi garu, Anant Jalavana, and special guest and most well-known person, Engineer K. Sudhir Reddy garu. My colleague, Dr. G. Venkateswara garu, past chairman of Institution of Engineers, council members, fellow fraternity, officers of DRDO, and other guests. Namaste to all of you. See, I was working for ECL during 73-74. And I was working for a division called Servo Controls. They manufacture components, design and manufacture the components and products for servo mechanism of various systems. There the slogan was self-reliance. Self-reliance. They used to design everything inside, manufacture, and used to supply this. No collaboration. That time that was the slogan. That is during 1970-74. Then, during Rajiv Gandhi time, the government's main aim was to establish communication network. Then came P.V. Narasimha Rao Sahab, all of you are aware, liberalization, privatization, and globalization, which has now totally changed the entire scenario of Indian economy. And then came Manmohan Singh. He is a very silent man, but he has done a lot of things to the industry. He is the person who has constituted National Manufacturing Competitive Council. And also he has brought out various schemes like establishment of tool rooms and training centers and implementing lean manufacturing systems. And he also always wanted to say, used to say that today our GDP is only 17%, which manufacturing is contributing to the GDP. It has to go by 25. Then then definitely we can take care of the employment problem of India. And he's also during his time he's enacted one MSMED 2006. Earlier it was small scale industries, that has been changed to micro, small, and medium enterprises. So then Modi government came. Then Modi government campaign was Make in India, Made in India, Skill India, Digital India. These various calls were given. All these things started giving results. And in fact, India was shining that time. India started, going and financially getting, recognized by entire world, entire globe. So that time, he has given us a mission stating that India has to achieve $5 trillion economy. And when this call is given, our MSME sector is the largest sector in the after China in the world. Our Indian MSME sector was the largest sector. Then it has taken the driver's seat and started working for achieving that. Generally, we all consider that the bulwark of our economy, and MSME will definitely grow and achieve this. But unfortunately, COVID-19 has come and it slowed down our economy. Then Prime Minister, the UPI government, the present government announced a scheme for overcoming the pandemic problems. And during that time, he announced Atmanirbhar Bharat. That is also self-reliance. So when all these things have been announced, then the industry started, rethinking how to revive this, from the sickness. Some industries have become sick, and some industries, still doing, normally. That time, one more advantage for India was, India also started growing in startups. And many startups have come, and now after US and UK, India was considered as the technical startups, highest technical startups hub. And most of the MSME sector, particularly these medium sectors, they want to enter into the India blog and capital market and list in the BSc SME sector. When all these things are going well, now again, the third wave has come. If really the third wave, India is going to indulge in the third wave, we will be, facing a lot of problems, and it is very difficult to come back. So in such a scenario, we thought we will have a small series of lectures, and the first of its lecture will, come out with various ideas, how to revive this and how to, catch the progress and how to, achieve the 5 trillion economy for India. That is the main idea for starting this lecture. We are thankful to DRDO for hosting this lecture because of the COVID. Actually, we want to have it physical mode in the Institution of Engineers. And our chief guest, Dr. Desradam, is having a lot of affinity for the Institution of Engineers, and he always used to help us whenever we are in problems. But because of the COVID, he has given us this platform so that we can address the gathering from here. So I am also, equally, worried that once this MSME sector is, which is supposed to be the bulwark of our economy, having any set of problems, how to come out this? And I have some 2-3 points. One is the role of the industrialists, role of the industrial associations, particularly. What role they have to play so that, their morale is always kept in, and morale is not, gone low. That is one thing what I look at the associations, for which, already our TIF, particularly under the leadership of our Sudhir Reddy garu, they are doing a lot of things and a lot of motivational activities, and, even talking to bankers and talking to government and coming out with various action plans. That is one thing. And the second thing is skill development. Skill development also have to do a lot of things. And one more is this access to capital. We have a lot of problems with access to capital. That is how now we invited today one DGM from Canara Bank. Probably you'll be addressing through this virtual mode from his home. And technology upgradation of the technology. Today, COVID has given us some threat, but it also given us various opportunities and challenges. The opportunities, how to develop our technology in-house, and also, become a global leader as far as the manufacturing sector is concerned. That is one thing, one challenge what he has given. And we are all, MSMEs ready to take up the challenge. And MSME can always, always swerve around and overcome the problems and reach this goal. That is one thing. Technology today, digital technology is very important. And I think about 1 lakh small scale industries, they adapted the digital technology. That is one thing what I want the speakers to address. One is the capital, other is the skill development. Third one is the foreign direct investment. If MSMEs can, have the foreign direct investment, and that is one more thing what I want the speakers to address. And very important thing is now, role of B schools in developing entrepreneurship. Today, B schools are, a lot of B schools are business schools, IIMs are there, universities are there, all conducting MBAs and other programs. But their role is basically giving management education, not entrepreneurship, developing entrepreneurship. Today, there is a lot of responsibility on the B schools. They have to come out with various schemes and various programs so that entrepreneurship is developed in India. In fact, now ISB is doing a program called Family Business. That is now that they also, give them some suggestions how the succession plan from this generation 1 entrepreneur to generation 2 entrepreneur. Why I am telling all this thing, without proper succession plan, this will not continue. The business entrepreneurship, particularly MSME sector, will not contribute. If you see today, most of the entrepreneurs, they have their wards, they have their children working in America and Australia. And they are not interested to come here, neither the entrepreneurs, they are counseling them and asking them to come here and work. Unless the success plan is there, the whatever efforts have been put and whatever platform has been created by these entrepreneurs today, this all will go waste. And in the interest of the economy of India, I suggest through all my colleagues who are in the MSME sector, please call your wards back to India. Ask them to take over your business or ask them to come out with some sort of, business plan and do the business in India and help growing the economy of India. With these few words, with these things. And one more thing, I just want to, share with you one poem. There is Sumati Satkam. It's a very, very important poem. See, many people are working for somebody and you have to work. You have to be employment to somebody, not working for somebody. In that context, there is one poem. Adigana Jetam Bijani, Midimelu Dorana Golchi, Midukata Kanten, Vodigala Yetulagatuku, Madadunaka Patakochi, Mahilo Samati. All of you have read this poem in our childhood. And let us take this as an inspiration. And I request all the entrepreneurs to, counsel your words and bring them back to India and ask them to take over your business. With these few words, I thank the DRDO officials and director for giving us this opportunity to host this meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Satyanarayana. I request our Honorary Secretary, Dr. G. Venkatasubbai Garu, kindly to introduce our today's speaker, Dr. K. Srinivasa Rao Garu.
Sir, so Kembai Srinivasa Rao is adjunct professor, Institute of Insurance and Risk Management, Hyderabad. He was earlier at National Institute of Banking Studies and Corporate Management at Noida. Prior to this, he was associate professor at the National Institute of Bank Management, Pune, as an industry expert. He is a career banker with over 3 decades of leadership roles in banking operations in India and abroad. He was secretary to the board of Bank of Baroda and last held the position of general manager. He has been a part of several international committees such as Indian Institute of Banking and Finance, Indian Banks Association. His areas of interest include corporate governance, risk management, risk-based supervision, debt resolution, and strategic management in the banking sector. His academic accomplishments include a PhD in commerce from Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi, MBA, and an LLB. He teaches and is a regular speaker at national and international academic institutions. So thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Presentation.
So thank you very much for that introduction. So Honorable Dr. Dashrath Ram Yadav sir, we are very grateful to you for hosting this event here and allowing us here. And Mr. K. Sudhir Reddy, Mr. Brahma Reddy, sir, Chairman, Institute of Engineers, and Mr. Jaitit R. Joshi, sir, Program Leader, DRDO. It's a great pleasure getting in touch with all of you. And Mr. Anant Jalona, Regional Manager, I think Canara Bank from Hyderabad, and Mr. Dr. G. Venkat Subbaya, sir, and Mr. Gopal Rao, and other dignitaries and those who are connected on the online platform, that is our Google or Zoom. So welcome to this talk today on the role of MSME. Not only in India, but world over, MSME plays a very critical role for 5 reasons. First, it is human intensive industry. So that provides huge opportunity for employment. And one more thing which we need to understand as far as the role of MSME is concerned is the connected role of other entrepreneurs who create the value chain, like those who are suppliers, those who get in touch with these MSME units for the supply and for they make their living on that. So the livelihood, if you compute the livelihood dependency on the MSME sector, it is more huge when compared to the statistics, which tells us about the number of units and employment generation. As far as number of units of MSME is concerned, we have about 6.6 crore MSME units, and they provide an employment opportunity to about 10%, that is about 6 crores or 7 crores it comes to. So a huge employment opportunity it provides. I think changing of, should I change or should I sit over there?
You can come there also.
I'll continue. So as Satyanarayana was telling, the huge impetus on the MSME sector began with formation of MSME Ministry and passing of MSME Act 2006. So that has been the beginning of reinforcement of MSME as a sector, which contributes to the national growth. Now, when we come to the point of quantification of its contribution, I think this we can change now. We can go to the next.
You can give it to the operator.
Yeah, that will be good. Yeah. Okay, so it's in my hand now.
Only forward.
Yeah. Good. Coming back to, I think this sector reinforcement has come from the Act and the Ministry. So that has been the reinforcement. It's not that it was not there earlier, but it has brought a lot of reinforcement to the sector that has empowered the MSME sector. And then came the, recently in 2000, the definition of MSME sector has been changed. It was earlier based on investment in plant and machinery, but now they have linked it to the turnover basis, where the micro units are up to say turnover of 5 crores and up to 50 crores small and 250 crores medium, and then they graduate into large ones. So this is their simplified benchmark so that they get credit, they get facilities, they get subsidies, they get support from the various government agencies and non-government agencies. So this has been a very good reforms that has come in the areas of MSME so that it can graduate to the next level as far as contribution is concerned. I was telling about 63.4 million MSME units, and they provide about 111 million people employment, and of course the number of products and all. And a very important thing is we have very gradually moved from agro-based economy to service sector economy. So whichever economy you see, whether it is agriculture or manufacturing or service sector, there is MSME in it. So there is MSME everywhere, wherever we see. And it is estimated that it provides about 30% to the GDP as far as its contribution is concerned. The next aim is to increase it to 50% with the emphasis that is being given so that it contributes to the 5 trillion economy. Now, as far as the economy is concerned, we were at about 2.7 trillion, but now the recent estimate says that we have reached 3.1 trillion. So 3.1 trillion we have already reached in a situation when we will find that the registration of MSME units is only 6 crores. Not 6 crores, it is a 57 lakhs. No, not even 1 crore. So 57 lakh units are registered and you have an MSME contribution of 30% to GDP. Now, if all of them get networked into the government schemes and they get integrated with the whole system, I think we can see a sea change. I think 5 trillion is not a very big target when it comes to if it is fully employed. But there is one small hitch in that. Though we have about 6 crore units, 94% are micro enterprises. Means they give employment to 1 or 2 people, maybe 5 people, not much. And 5% are small. So the large is only just 30 to 33,000 in such a big country like India. I think what is more important is to graduate the micro enterprises to small and small to medium and medium to large. That is where the contribution of engineering community comes, where they need to induct the skill sets among the entrepreneurs, not waiting for them to visit us, but we have to visit them because they don't have the kind of wherewithal, they don't have the kind of ecosystem whereby they can come and seek knowledge from us. So whatever projects we take, like Dr. Satyanarayana was very right, that we have about 6,000 B schools in India, 6,000 B schools in India. And all the B school students, even if you take average 200 students in each B school, and they do lot of projects. Every semester there will be one project because I am myself teaching, so I am very well aware about that. So if they take up these projects of disseminating skill sets or disseminating literacy, I think a lot of change can happen. And even our school curriculum in the NCERT books should teach about entrepreneurship, not seeking employment, but how to seek this entrepreneurship, that is risk-taking ability. If we do that, I think a lot of change can come. So this is the breakup of registrations. So we have a long way to go as far as inviting MSMEs to register with the government agencies so that they get the help. And here, one thing I would like to re-emphasize, because all concerned people are here, that we need to have an MSME clock in every district. MSME clock means it should tick as to how many units are there, what is the productivity, so that we can have a control on that. So that kind of policy, district industry centers are there. Because I used to work with the district industry center when I was branch manager in the bank. So district industry center can play a much more vital role in encouraging MSMEs to get in touch with the industry outlets so that they can get the benefit of subsidies, they can get benefit of funding and other things. So as far as the GDP distribution, I think much of it we know very well that COVID impact has been in all sectors. And so is MSME. When your GDP is falling, then naturally there is a hit on the MSME sector as well. Like if we recollect, minus 24% was the GDP for 2021, and half year we could recover to 13.7%, and now we are expecting 9.2% as per the statistics that are available now. Of course, the economic survey will come now before the budget, so it will give much more depth as far as the data points are concerned. So what's more important here to catch is, like any other sector, MSME is very hard hit. They are more hard hit because the rescue reaches them very late. The rescue reaches those who are influential, who have the power, who have the logic with them. They can come and meet people who are in power and they can get the benefit. But to reach to the last man, it takes time. So we need to, it has hit very badly as far as the COVID is concerned. And worst hit has been travel, tourism, hotel industry, and eating outlets. The statistics now say about 30% of the restaurants may not again open. That's the kind of estimates that we have. So it is very hard hit. When it is hard hit, the solution is to reach out to them more aggressively so that they come out of the pain of COVID. Maybe it will take about 4 to 5 years, but it has to happen. So 25% of the MSME loans may become bad loans. What happens, pardon?
That is expected. No?
That is expected. Now, if that happens, what is the implications of that? Funds will not flow to them because there is no system whereby one can lend if it is an NPA. So that is why RBI has come out with 2 rounds of restructuring of loans. They have permitted restructuring of loans, and moratorium has been given for 6 months. Not only this sector, every sector it has been given, and so is MSME sector. So a lot of what you call more endurance is required, more policy support is required as far as this sector is concerned, because it is very it has poor infrastructure. That is the thing. It also supports export. And now it's a good thing exports has come into our discussion. This time, for the first time, we may reach 400 billion as far as exports are concerned, because we have already completed 300 billion during 9 months. So the statistics of the next 3 months have not yet come. For the first time, we may touch 400 billion. So in that, there is contribution of every sector, and so is MSME. But the only point here to be observed is the bigger MSMEs are contributing to exports. That is why the numbers are ticking. But once the lower end of the MSME sector starts contributing, I think we can surpass even 500 billion. That's the export potentiality that we have. But who will educate them how to export? So these are all some of the issues which need to be looked into when we talk about MSME sector. So how to give pain relief? I think a lot of talk has already been given, that government has already given emergency credit line and a lot of subordinate debt has been given, and a lot of support has been given, which Mr. Brahmananda Reddy sir, he was also talking about. So I don't want to repeat that, but the relief package which has been aligned for providing relief to the MSME sector has been good, but has it been delivered? That's the point. So I leave it to the forum to check back. Has the package which has been designed with a lot of conviction, has it reached the target group? If it has not reached, how to make it reach so that they come out of that pain? It is not as to how much relief is articulated, but how much relief is actually reaching the things. as far as my timelines are concerned, you can just give me 5 minutes before so that I can do that. So relief to MSME sector from the COVID pain. I think a lot of work is yet to be done by the non-government agencies, like those so-called associations and CII, that is Confederation of Indian Industry, and such forums which provide which ensure that the benefit is delivered to the target group of customers. So that one thing we will have to look into. So the RBI has given a lot of liquidity. It has also set up a Kamath committee panel, and in MSME there is UK Sinha report on MSME sector as to how to reach them, how to pull them out of the abyss in which they are. So the only thing is there is no dearth of provisions, but the provision is to be delivered to the right man and ensure that they use it and return the money back to the bank so that the bank is in a position to flow it back into the sector. So that is what is wanting. I think that we need to look into. Now, what are the challenges? I think challenges are many, but just to recall some of the things which our earlier speakers have already pointed out, appetite for registration of MSME units, that you will have to invigorate. How you will be doing, I think a lot of education is to be imparted. Skill sets. Now, we have a system in India, sir, of lifetime degree. That I'm an engineer, so I have taken I did my PhD in 1991. Now, has it a relevance? Because it has a relevance because it has given me the conceptual understanding, but I need to upgrade my skill sets.
Oh, NJP is something in there.
That culture of renewal of skill sets and remain relevant to the present times is very, very important. And that's perhaps is the missing link even in MSME. When large industries are suffering for want of appropriate skill sets, then I think as far as MSME, which is I would call a depressed sector because it is trying to catch it up. So that's 5 minutes.
No problem.
Okay. Okay. So skill sets, we need to, how we do it? Now, I think very learned people are here. A lot of forums are there. Now, how to do it? I think we will have to find out ways and means of doing it. But skill upgradation is an essential element not only for MSME sector, but to all the sectors where we need to see how we tap the technology areas. Because the technology, the new power is data. Nowadays, the new power is data, which is lying in technology. So now we need to harness that to see that we get what to produce, where to produce, and where to reach, and which part of the globe we should reach as far as our products and services are concerned. I think that point needs that data analytics and information. I think our engineer friends will be able to lend a helping hand for that, so that export orientation is built, and poor and inadequate logistic infrastructure, that is roads and connectivity roads. We are finding all national highways and lot of express highways are there. But to connect that to a village where a small entrepreneur is making some furniture, how to reach it, or the textile towns that we have, how to reach, I think a lot of logistic we will have to ensure that it reaches. And then complexity of legal norms, because when very highly educated people are not able to understand the legal tangles, then how I think some simplification. Of course, now one good thing is Ministry of Commerce is removing many of the complicated old legislations, and even some of them, they are making it from criminal to civil. Means the what you call compliance norms. If you don't follow the compliance norms, what is going to happen? I think that they are going to make it. So making it more simpler, I think we need to look for that. Then the absence of credit. Not only in India, inadequacy of credit to the sector is the most widely spoken issue. But it rests with some of the culture of the society. That is repayment of the loans. Because it is the depositors' money which is given to the borrowers. If they don't pay us back, how are we going to pay it back to the deposit? That's the issue. Though we have that insurance, deposit insurance of 5 lakhs, now 1 lakh to 5 lakhs, they made it. But it is not it is a question of cultural issue. So there again, I think a lot of dissemination of knowledge is required. And lack of marketing skills and constraints of expansion of business and digital and financial literacy. These are some of the aspects which we need to, and intellectual property rights. Like many of the MSME units are doing wonderful job, but they do not know that they can register it as their own intellectual property so that others do not copy it. And they can create a differentiation in the market, and they can create what you call their own identity to the whole product lines. So I think that we need to look into. So coaching, mentoring, and succession. And one point I would like to point out here, those successful entrepreneurs, there is a spectrum of successful entrepreneurs. That is why they are contributing to the GDP 30%. Each successful entrepreneur should adopt 4 or 5 other small units, mentor them, coach them, like what you are talking about, the succession planning. So when it comes to succession planning, it is one family succession planning is one. The second succession is how to allow these small sectors to grow under the shade of the bigger sectors. So everyone has a role to play. I think that part also one can see as to how they will adopt some of the units which they will be adopting as a model, that they will replicate their success models and leave the footprints in those units so that they are in a position to grow and become part of bigger ones. Like what we are talking about, the bigger, I think these are all some of the stakeholders who need to support. So I will do one thing, only I will come to this finance, because I am from finance, so I should tell about the finance. MSME sector is having about 28 trillion loans. That is the what is outstanding now. And the percentage is only 25.85. And now this data will not give you any much information unless you see what is the gap in the funding position. I think gap I have captured somewhere. I don't know where it is.
20 lakh crores.
No, not 20 lakh crores. It is 32 trillion. The gap of credit is 32 trillion. That is organized credit. Most of the MSMEs depend on unorganized credit and what you call the non-banking finance companies or indigenous borrowers, indigenous lenders who charge exorbitant interest rates. So like if you take the case of Bandhan Bank, which has now become a bank, earlier it was a microfinance finance institution. So that has done some job on the lending to the microfinance units. So what we need to do is organized credit should increase and people should migrate from unorganized to organized. And the repayment culture has to improve so that they can now SIDB earlier, SIDB, I think everybody knows, Small Industries Development Bank, that used to give refinance to the microfinance institutions for on lending purpose. But now after COVID, it has started giving its own direct lending. And direct lending they are giving, I think some schemes are there, they are there, I have captured. So what is more important is the COVID relief loans. I think entrepreneurs should have the knowledge to go to SIDBI, take this loan, or how the SIDBI will come to know that there is an entrepreneur. I think that linkage is to be established. I think NGOs can work on that. And there is a credit guarantee scheme for the microfinance institutions. So SIDBI gives assurance to these microfinance institutions that if you don't get money, we will pay you. That's the kind of arrangement. Like what is there in the emergency credit line scheme of the government. There is 3 trillion which is announced for the relief of about 45 lakh MSME entrepreneurs have availed that. But it is on the upper end of the spectrum. But this credit guarantee is a very good scheme. One should avail and they should have the knowledge to do that. So credit gap, it is here. I think I have captured here 20, you are right, 25 trillion. 25 trillion is the gap. So unless this gap is bridged, how they will contribute to the 5 trillion economy? So proportionate difficulty, and this is what is identified by UK Sinha committee report. So these are the impact of credit on the, they have given some time for repayment of the loan, RBI has given. And as far as settlement of dues of the MSME sector is concerned, like payment of dues, like accessories they purchase, big units, they have set a time norms, government has set 45 days. Within 45 days, you should clear MSME bills. So now most of the things, what is happening is they are not putting on record and they are putting the record when it is, they are about to pay. So these are all some of the bypassing of the norms which needs to be audited. So there should be a social audit as far as the larger units are concerned, so that they are helpful to the MSME sector and they should have empathy with the MSME sector. So TREDS, I think many of us know very well TREDS. About 4,500 companies have become members of this. This is for lending of invoices of MSME units. But then the question comes, how many are GST registered? How many are in a position to raise an invoice? And how many are capable of doing that? Many of them are outside the orbit. That is why, sir, why most of the benefits are not reaching. It is only because of that shyness which needs to be addressed. And these are all some of the, this TREDS is helping a lot. If this, along with that 45 days settlement of bills, if they together work, then MSME units will get. This one is, if it is there, a bank can give immediately. So no waiting for 45 days, but invoice can be funded. So that this plus 45 days norms, if these two are seen together, then quick settlement of the dues is possible. So this is the support which is given by RBI. I think many of us are aware about that. So you can, I will share this presentation. You can see at your convenience. And what is more important, which is required, is 9 out of 10 MSMEs depend on informal sources of funds, for informal sources of borrowings. That I think one need to address at the village level. And this is the cycle of how the funding of MSMEs takes place. Right from, like, I think she is a tea seller. Tea seller, now I think the Prime Minister has launched one 10,000 rupees loan to the vendors who have been hard hit by COVID. Means these like pani puri and tea stalls and eatable stalls. These people were very hard hit during lockdown. And even after lockdown also, people were not buying from them because of the fear of the virus. So for them, these some are coming up with some apps but who are capable of using the app? First is they should have a mobile and a smartphone, which is capable of having that app. And then they should be able to, like e-rupee is now launched. E-rupee, e-rupee is a very good way of reaching out subsidy to the target group. But one should have that ecosystem to receive those benefits. So this, if you study this total picture, then how a last man can be helped, that can be very evident. A paperless banking system, that's what we are calling, but the other side should be able to use that. And many fintech lenders are coming now. Fintech lenders means digital lenders. And the second thing that is happening is the what we call neobanks, which are coming. Neobanks are virtual banks. Neobanks are coming. So these are some of the, I have picked up some digital lenders. So they are doing a good job, but again, to financially literate people. Unicorns are coming up. I think we have a lot of startups. India is becoming a startup capital, and we have a lot of appetite for unicorns. Unicorns are nothing but 1 billion valuation of startup becomes a unicorn. I think we have how many, 90 or 90 unicorns, something is there. I think we have some statistics here. As far as the statistics goes, 59,000 startups. That is the data, latest data. And I think, let me see how many MSME startups are there. About 90 startups are there. 90 unicorns are there. Startups are 59,000 in 634 districts. India is having 777 districts. Now, number of districts are also increasing, like states. So we have 777 districts. So should we wind up?
What is positive report?
Okay. So this is what I just wanted to make my point. Before I wind up, three things I would like to re-emphasize. MSMEs are very capable. We can make them more capable if we partner with them, mentor them, raise them, and see that the support which has been announced by the government reaches the target group. Second is technology upgradation and skill set upgradation, and then reaching out to the linking with the markets, produce and the markets. If these three things are done, I think MSMEs will be able to contribute to make us reach much beyond 5 trillion economy. Thank you very much. And thanks for giving the time.
Just share one thing. Chief guest now is called by chairman of DRDO.
Using the other.
Firing is taken place today. Brahmas firing. He's discussing. He'll be joining us.
No problem.
We'll go there. We'll continue with that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. K. Srinivas Rao garu, for your excellent and wonderful presentation and explanation of you wonderfully explained about empowerment of MS sector, latest changes, how the definition has gone, the benchmark for classification, what are the hard dates to MSMEs, key challenges and issues that to be looked into. So thank you, sir. Thank you. I request our Honorary Secretary to kindly introduce our
Next speaker.
Jayajit Joshi garu. I request Jayajit.
Afternoon. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Dr. Jayajit Joshi, Dr. Jatita Joshi is a mechanical engineer graduate from Osmania City, a management postgraduate from the he is program director of Kalas and Guidance at DRDL Hyderabad. He is governing council member of ARCI, distinguished visiting professor INI TICT chairman IIW Hyderabad chapter and vice president ISMT. He has made significant contribution to the field of missile engineering and non-destructive testing, and as chairman of ISMT has tangibly helped to promote the NDT culture across the country. He is a fellow of several institutions, namely Telangana Academy of Sciences, Institute of India, Indian Society of Non-Destructive Testing, Indian Society of Mechanical Engineers, and Indian Institution of Production Engineers. He has contributed significantly in the development of various cutting-edge technologies of missile engineering, for which he has been restored with many awards and honors, notable among them being Distinguished NDTN of the Decade by SMT in 2012, Deputy Scientist of the Year 2013, National Technology Day Oration Award by DRDO in 2016, DRDO Performance Excellence Award in 2016, IIM Self Gold Medal 2018, Eminent Scientist 2019 by Lions Plus International, Scientist of the Year 2019 by DRDO, and Bharat Ratna Award for Outstanding Contribution to the field of engineering by the Institute of Engineering 2020. With this brief introduction, I will request Dr. Jatita Joshi to give his talk.
Thank you very much. Our dignitaries, Sri Brahmanand Reddy Garu, Dr. Satyanarayana, Dr. K. Srinivas Rao, Dr. Sudhir Reddy, or Dr. Darshat Ram, dignitaries from the industry, CII, people who have joined online. I'll just give a brief overview of how MSME, what is the role of MSME in Indian defense. See, DRDO has been running a lot of flagship programs like Nirbhay, Prithvi, Dhanush, BrahMos, Agni series of missiles. Astra, Telasam, Akash, Tivarsam. Now all these various other flagship programs like Helena and all, most of the missiles have gone for production. So when it goes for production, there is MSME role increases. So in missile, there are a lot of critical technologies. It's not only because generally once we see it as MSME, mostly we look at it as a machine shop, machining industry, that type of thing will come to the mind of a common man. There are various technologies like navigation, control, simulation, battery, aerodynamics, materials. There are a lot of small material manufacturers also, forging companies, manufacturing, like ground systems, like vehicles and all, propulsion system, warhead, telemetry. See, these are a few of the items which are all required for a missile or any aircraft or any rocket to come out. So generally any missile thing, what are all the things required is a ceramic radome, it's a ceramic, then metallics, some electronics, antennas, a lot of various types of alloys like margin steel, 4340, aluminum alloys, antennas, then boosters. This is generally tungsten. We use various type of materials, various type of machining facilities required is there, various type of electronics, computer science, including civil, lot of things are required. So this is a total gamut of items required. That's for the missile manufacturing. I'll just briefly talk on some of the critical technologies which Hyderabad region, the moment I call it as Hyderabad region is mostly Telangana, Andhra Pradesh and some parts of Karnataka, where these things MSME is growing in a very big way for, they are the hub for defense as well as aerospace industries. So concentration of MSME is in a very limited zone. This sectors what I have told as well as I'll give this presentation. I'll give it. So, and some parts of that old Bombay, that is Bombay and Gujarat. Other than that, the growth expansion has not happened. Now the government has come up with various schemes like industrial corridors at Tamil Nadu, Coimbatore sector, and now UP and all. The government is giving a lot of thrust and initiatives. And there are silicon, this ceramic technologies. There are few companies only, 3 or 4 companies. So dependency on them is very, very large. Again, coming to that, are we looking them as an industrialist or a businessman. As people have spoken, it has become rather than an industrialist, sorry to say some very rough words, they have become a business. So first generation businessman establishes, he wants to grow it as an industry, second generation doesn't come. So that means it becomes a business proposition, sell it as a real estate thing and go away. That is the general thing happening because it's the part of the game where it is happening. We don't have a mechanism like other countries where we give it as a charity or ask somebody to run and hive off. Like L&T is one classic example. Nobody is a owner. It's majority owned by institutions and the public who are working there. Something of that model also we have to look at. So that if the second generation is not coming up, the technology should not go waste. Whatever he has developed over a period of time, somebody has developed this, somebody has developed a composite, somebody has developed a good machining capability, but next in line, nobody is there. Where DRDO is looking at the various industry base, what type of industries we are looking at, maybe welding, maybe propulsion, flight structures, aerodynamics, launchers, general structural engineering, very precision engineering, flow forming. These are all some of the areas where we are looking at industry partners, basically. See, there is a value chain of manufacturing, as you have rightly told. Material science plays one role. Raw material dependence on foreign countries is very, very heavy for the raw material because it's a problem with the country's mining sector. We don't have many of the mines. Suppose you take tungsten, we are totally, world itself is dependent on China. 94% of the mines are there. We should have a mechanism where we hire the mines or we have a back-to-back agreement, governmental agreement, come up with a proposal so that the material supply is always there. Some examples we have done like CMET, NFC, Midhani, KMML, some of the things government funding has been done over a period of last 30 years, 40 years and all to come up with some of the self-sustenance in some of the critical items. Now, what we are looking as a government policy itself to get into the private sector coming into the picture, a consortium of private sectors can come together, join hands and take the technologies and do it. See, we have strategic systems which are of national, it should be a national strength, uninterrupted security for the country and favorable positioning in the world. Now, many of the things now you see, whether it is Hyundai or basically Hyundai, I know it is badly hit because of one component, they have piled up lakhs of infrastructure created, lakhs of vehicles created, and it is lying as a dead inventory. They are unable to give it. So we should not have that one. We should not be a monopolistic business. At the same time, we should not have large number of industry where it's a rat race because I have set up an industry, so I will undercoat and take it. We should have a system for industry as well as a societal use. We should have a robust economic growth meeting the aspirations of the people. Finally, at the end of the day, people who are working there, they should be happy. You should develop some of the science and technology. We should have a clusters. Earlier, we used to have an ancillary units culture. You can watch that BDL had an ancillary unit at Bhanur, BHEL Industrial Estate. It was a big ancillary unit. That culture has gone. Now it's all spread and all. As you have rightly said, you land up from ORR and land up, get down at some location in Patancheru, go to an industrial estate, it is a hell. 1 hour you reach that place, another 1 hour you take. So infrastructure support also has to be given by the government. It should be a holistic approach where we should have, unless that holistic approach is there, we'll have a chain breakage. Yeah. The chain breakage is basically happening because of unfavorable pricing, because somebody exports from an Y country at a throwaway price, which we cannot compete. And there are certain embargoes on the supply, and there are inadequate infrastructure. And the most important thing is limited skill. We are not upgrading ourselves. We are not allowing them, my people, to upgrade. That is the people who are working. Suppose as you are telling that lifetime certificate, where we are in NDT, we don't give a lifetime certificate. We certify and train them. Our examination will be every 5 years. Our certificate is valid only for 5 years. After 5 years,
NSC is doing the same.
Yeah. So unless they get themselves tested, certified, including the eye test, he does it, then only we give him the recertification, or else the certificate becomes null and void after 5 years. Something of that sort has to be there. So supply chain must be robust and sustainable. The consortium should work in such a way that the end major player, the tier 1 supplier or the major supplier, major guy should get to know to the mid-level fellow where he will interact with further 5 fellows. That fellow will interact with further fellow. At the end of the day, I will get from one cluster, this item I am coming. That cluster concept has to be brought in. Unless we bring in the cluster concept, it will be very difficult, even for the financiers to fund also. Suppose one proposal comes for an electronics, another comes for a mechanical, the banker will not understand what is happening. Then he should have a specialized team to analyze that. So as he has rightly told, 6.3 crores units and various products and all, various sectors are there, 111 million people are working. We have a potential to create a lot of things, because most of the items we are importing it from some other country. Instead of that, you create an infrastructure, governmental trust also should be given, wherein they will be giving you subsidies, some way of tax holidays, tax incentives and all those things, so that you will also become competitive. See, the customers for you is limited. So with the limited supply at defense and aerospace, the company cannot survive. You should have another application. So I will take a limited 100 number, 200 number, 1000 number, but your infrastructure has to be catering for a bigger number. So alternate either export or some other way you have to go about. Basically, in any of the thing, presently we are a net importer, whether it is a defense, telecom supply, it's almost 90% import, semiconductor. Now we are having a semiconductor package has been announced, and relatively competitiveness of MSC units is very, very less. Chalta hai attitude is there. I should not tell. There is one component which our friend Reddy will tell. We wanted to get it manufactured. I have gone to at least 40, 50 vendors across India, housing. We could not get it. Finally, I went to some X country. There, a small company with 4 machines only could deliver it. See, the technological upgradation or skill set is not there, and lack of markets, and lack of limited knowledge on the technologies, poor and incompetitive raw material, insufficient infrastructure are the major hindrances for the growth of the industry. See, innovation is not there. When a kid, right from kid, we start killing the innovation. Where if that fellow is trying to inquisitive, then you don't go, you will fall off and all. We don't leave him to do it what he intends to do it. So those type of things are there. This basically now import ban of 110 items followed by 108 items to promote the indigenous industry. The government has taken the initiative. The defense procurement procedure of 2016 has been introduced for procurement categories such as buy indigenously, designed and developed and manufactured, make 1 and make 2, various things are there, which we have upgraded to Defense Acquisition Procedures 2022, which augments the TPP. See, there we have allocated double the budget allocation. Now I will come focus to the defense part of it. It's about 15,700 crores. So as we have told, because being a finance person, we have that guaranteed emergency credit line and Prime Minister Employment Yojana and all have been put into place. How to take benefit of that one? You should have this CII or Institute of Engineers or FICCI or Telangana Industrialist Association or all those people should guide them, because he is worried to go to a bank because banker doesn't accept him upfront. Sorry to say that, because so many jargon and all, you will not understand. 100 pages if you sign means a small uneducated vendor will think that whether he will eat away my company. So that will be his first mindset, that we should come out of that one, so that we should make him comfortable, so that he comes for the, rather than going to a 2%, 3% per month interest, he will come back to a lower interest rate regime. So as we have told, 5 trillion economy is a big jargon and big goal we have put it. Last few years, defense exports have grown in with 35,000 crores business. Now Akash, we are trying to export. Recently, BrahMos have got a big order of about $370 million and all those things. So with that, the growth is increasing. Some other missiles are also coming up. So now that productivity linked incentive scheme, which has been brought in, that also PLI also is giving a thrust. And it has to reach the indented this thing, and corporate tax reduction to the 15%. These are all some of the things. Some more just thing, instead of having so many ifs and buts, now people will come back. MSME says, I have given 18% GST, have paid the item. We have given me 5%, 13% is lying with the government. Few lakh crores are lying with the GST department. I am not able to get the reimbursement of that one, how to do it. These type of all issues have to be taken up. And various offset and other policies have been put into place with 200 crores business discharge expected to grow very extensively in the next 5 years. See, now I will just dwell upon what are the future business potential, what people will be interested. Rafale aircraft contract value is about $8,800 million. Offset is about 50% of that one, which has to come into the country. This is a huge business. C-17, about 1,100 crores, $1 million. Then P-8 aircraft, H-64 helicopter. These are all into the aerospace. And there are some missile component, missile MBDA, about 386 millions, this thing. These are all the things which are having an offset obligation. The fellow who has supplied, the OEM has to honor this type of offset obligations. See, now 47,000 crores worth contract has been cleared, 83 indigenous Tejas aircrafts, then 114 fighter aircrafts worth $18 billion. The huge money is there. Now we have to upgrade ourselves, come up to the expectation, so that the component, if any major player wants, like HAL, lead integrator wants, he'll just give you a drawing. It's a build to print concept. He will give you a drawing and you have to make it. Self-certification plays an important role. No, yeah, I will do that, manufacture the component and leave it. You send an inspector and test it. That concept doesn't arise. You should be upgrade yourself. The MSME should upgrade themselves to be self-certification mode, wherein randomly they will pick some 2 numbers, 3 numbers, 5 numbers, check it. If it is clear, the entire batch will get there. You should upgrade themselves. So that we should get yourself trained with QC Foundation of India, or ISMT, and various forums are there, which they are giving them training. Other business option, this thing is Akash, lot of industries are getting a lot of benefit. Dhanush artillery gun, OFB is giving. Attacks, Vajra, Bharat 52, Garuda, various weapon locating radars of the Bell, lot of electronics opportunities are there. Military vehicles, Ashok Leyland, mine protected vehicles. Then naval systems like LRSAM, MRSAM, offshore patrol vehicle, fast patrol vehicle, high-speed patrol boats, MRSAM, then BrahMos cruise missiles. Various things are coming up in a big way. So you should come up and get yourself trained, certified yourself to the ISO and AS 9000 certifications, so that you are industry ready. Production readiness review can be conducted. You take an order generally for 5 numbers, 10 numbers. Afterwards, upgradation is becoming a very huge task. We have seen one of the programs, MRSAM, people were doing 5 numbers, 10 numbers, 20 numbers. Now it's gone into a large numbers. We are facing problem for their upgradation of the machines and capabilities. What are the steps involved or guidelines involved in improving? One is identify the right opportunity rather than putting everything under one roof. NADCAP approved test capability, NABL approved testing. You should go know how to outsource and have a consortium of industries and do it. You may have understanding the key strength and core competences, preliminary interactions with OEMs. OEMs plays a role. So much offset is coming, few thousands of crores. We should interact with the OEMs. If you want to go and interact with the OEMs, our facilities should be of the state of art. The maintenance of the facilities, the documentation, the cleanliness, the storage, retrieval, document retrieval, security of the document, security of the systems, all these things they look at. Identify key focal personas to spearhead the sectorial initiatives, create dedicated business vertical for one of the things. You may have various business, but specific to the aerospace or defense, you can have one vertical. Devise entry strategy and investment plans. See, this will not be a next 2 years, 3 years, I'll be able to generate the business. You have to wait. Gestation period in defense and aerospace is very large. At the most, around 5 years will be the gestation period. Building foundational infrastructure and the team plays a very, very important role. How do you be the part of the overall global supply chain? Participate in sector events and forums, build a focused team, and identify anchor customers and build rapport with them. Production strategy to manufacture in-house and outsource. Again and again, I'm coming back and outsource. Everything everybody wants to do it in-house, it becomes impossible. And the step 3 is secure the initial order. Complete the registration formalities for each target customer and OEM. Don't put everything with so many customers. Focused you can go. Prepare facility for formal assessment by the customer for the limited series production, then upgrade yourself to the large quantity production. Set up a special process and material sourcing tie-up. You should have a tie-up where you have a quality control and you have an access to the NADCAP approved vendor or NABL approved vendor, so that whenever your product goes, that process he will do it, and his own self-certification will be valid for the OEM. Review regulatory requirements and prepare a facility for certifications. Secure order or assumption from customer. Clearance for the first article inspection. Once you do the first article inspection, limited inspection, then you are approved for a self certification. You yourself can certify and keep selling the item. Again, coming to certification and expansion, basically you should have the customer should have a confidence, OEM should have a confidence on you. Get the required certifications, scale up facilities and process to meet the volume and quality. This is a very critical thing which we are lacking. Maintain quality and timeliness of delivery. Quality is utmost important, timeliness. Unless you may be a critical person in the supply chain, if you are not supplying, see, I have told you the Hyundai experience, the entire thing comes to a standstill. Discuss on other opportunities with the customer. You have matured yourself for this thing. Any other things are there, side activities. You can keep doing that parallel development. Develop healthy portfolio of component. Don't put everything in one X component or X aircraft. Suppose that aircraft doesn't take off because of something else, then your things should not come to a standstill. You should have a parallel backup plan. Gradually add new components and customers without compromising quality and reputation. This is very, very important, which we are lacking to the core, because any foreign OEM is crying on this only. Plan for additional approvals and audits. So now you are sufficient with ISO, but you plan for AS 9000 or something else higher than that, so that you are one step ahead what is the customer is wanting. Move up the value chain rather than clear vision and strategy to move from the component to sub-assembly manufacture. Component manufacturer 100 fellows will get. Suppose you upgrade yourself, you are already a component manufacturer, you should make a sub-assembly. Build capability by working with customers to identify right assemblies. Look for global players, JVs and acquisitions. You should be mentally prepared for that one, so that you can grow. To propel the transformation, target Indian and other global players who have defense manufacturing bases in India, which is not happening. When some people are only working for Boeing or RUAG or something, they don't bother about the Indian customers. Once that stops, then they start searching. So you should have a balance of things, maybe 30% Indian, 70% foreign, depending on the business. Develop capabilities and approvals to supply sub-assembly to key global aircraft or defense programs. As we have all discussed this SPMs and all, how to strategic partnership model. How much time I have, sir? I think I'm running out of time. Startups is one major things which we have discussed. There are a lot of incentives for the startups. Not the old existing MSME will not get that tag of startup. There is a small line. And if you are doing the offset program for MSME industries, it is 1.5%, 1.5 times the multiplication factor is given, so that if he wants to do 100 rupees offset, if he does with you, he can only do 66, still he gets 100 rupees credit. So that advantage, if the OEM starts working with you, so you have to take the advantage of that one. And a lot of innovative solutions. IDEX is one platform where we are funding. Technology development is one more platform where we are funding large. A lot of people are getting benefited. Support for prototype and research kickstart is there. Grants up to 1.5 grants. It is not loan. Grants up to 1.5 crore is given. And who can apply? There are various things. I will give it to you so that you can get this thing. Now there are a lot of technology gap. Center of Excellence and basic research is done by core academic people and IITs and R&D establishments. The translation research has to be done by the BDL and DRDO together, put together. Then comes the commercial productionization, where your role comes in a big way. This is something at TRL level up to 4 academia and R&D institutions. 4 to 8, this will be a major production agencies and development agencies will take. First is research has to be completed with the Center of Excellences or whatever you call. Then the development will be done by DRDO, research plus development. Then demonstration together with DRDO and one of the public sector undertakings for demonstration. Then deployment is MSME only has to do the deployment. Unless MSME has to take a proactive step, then only things will happen. See, when we want to do a big economic growth and 5 trillion and all those things, competitiveness will strengthen the industry. Innovation has to be there. Unless you innovate, you will not do anything. You have to create new products and processes. Translational researches have to be done through Indian Institute of Innovative Manufacturing. That may be Institute of Engineers, that may be CII, that may be industry partner, that may be ISNT, IAW, whoever is there. Then manufacturing excellence we will achieve. With this manufacturing excellence, together with MSME and Tier 2, Tier 3 companies, we will get an economic growth. See, unless what will happen, we have in the supply chain, once it is transformed, it's a win-win situation for all the people. Innovate India, initiate Indian, integrate, be Indian. So reverse brain drain has to stop, because he was telling that people working in US, their people have to come back. And you have an ecosystem. At a click of a button, I get a loan. At a click of a button, I get a skilled manpower. At a click of a button, I'll negotiate with an order. I need not go and run around. At 30 days, MSME will get a payment. I need not run around the audit authorities or something. Then people will come back. That reverse brain drain will automatically happen. It is all in our hands. Then we get, once the reverse brain drain happens, they get a lot of technologies, artificial intelligence, whatever machine learning technologies they have learned, they will bring in. So we'll become a large exporter. And we get an enhanced national knowledge base, dominance in defense. Instead of net importer, we become a net exporter. We'll have a synergy with the users. Even MSME, directly, if you are making a sub-assembly, user will directly come to you. Yes, I want this sub-assembly. My thing has gone up. I want this item. We will say, these are all the people as a development come production partners. This item is from X. This item is Y. You need not come to the lead integrator like BDL or DRDO or Bell or BML. You directly go to them, so that the value addition, what he does, he doesn't do a technological value addition. Is only cost addition will happen. That benefit will get to the user, and you will also get a direct customer. Thank you very much. We are all partners in this venture. So unless we partner together, we cannot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Jaydeep Joshi garu. There is a great information and knowledge as far as the defense equipment and its government funding, then how that is pulled about that taking care of second generation, like giving an example of L&T and culture of ancillary units. Yes, it is true. Earlier, if a big organization, it has its own units to supply, like now it is missing. And so there, the faith in is also missing, a link of that. And you have told about breaking of the chain to stop inadequate infrastructure and robust supply chains. And also you mentioned about availability of indigenous. Government must take more initiatives, though it is, I think, already initiated for indigenous market, this one, and make it agile free in all the tax part is concerned. And also the MSC should become industry ready, and they must be proactive as you this thing. And also they should have tie-up and control of quality control, all that. And also mentioned about startup and technology gap. Also, you have really explained in a nice way in what is the gap between funding and the technology readiness levels. So thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Now I request our Honorary Secretary. How is by profile? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, by
Yes,
profile.
sir.
Yes, kindly you can introduce the third speaker, Sri Anant Jalona, Regional Manager of Canara Bank.
Anand Jalona is a Bachelor of Science. He joined as PO in Canara Bank from Patna, Bihar in 1988. Then Anand Jalona promoted as manager in the year 2005, senior manager in 2009, and as chief manager in the year 2013, and AGM in the year 2017, and deputy general manager in the year 2021. He worked at various places like Chandigarh, Bangalore, Coimbatore, Pune, and Ranchi. He has almost 24 years of banking experience. Sri Anant Jalona, presently regional manager, Head of Hyderabad Regional Office 3. So now I welcome Yelena sir to address the gathering, sir.
Unmute here.
Yeah.
Good evening to all. I hope I'm audible, sir.
Yes, sir.
Uh, Respected Brahma Reddy sir, Darshat sir, Venkat Subbiah sir, K. Srinivas Rao sir, Director DRDL. So I find myself in the august presence of such eminent personalities, stalwarts. Brahma Reddy sir has chosen me to speak on this occasion. I feel quite humble, so, sir, as a banker, senior banker Srinivas Rao sir has given some serious poses on the MSMEs. So before I move into my presentation, just few poses which sir has thrown. I think these are difficult challenges. The ecosystem is huge, and there are various challenges which all the stakeholders will have to move forward. I think this needs a lot of deliberations, and I think eminent personalities, this forum is a beautiful forum, and I have never been such a part of such a serious forum. So this is the first of my such experience, and I am taking it forward, sir. Is there any problem with the voice, sir? Okay.
It's a problem with the voice. I think you have opened in two systems.
Okay. श्रीनिवास सर, आप थोड़ा लॉग आउट कर दीजिए एक बार के लिए. Sir, hope it's okay now, sir.
Now it is.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Now, okay, sir.
Yeah, because actually the presentation was also to be made by my colleague. So anyway, so sir, for a banker, how I look at the MSME is the important challenge is an important, like the access to the capital. So one poser was very important poser, access to the capital, and how the MSME entrepreneur knows which is the best solution to that capital. And which is the best course? Is it debt, equity? What exactly it is? Entrepreneurship development program is another challenge for a new entrepreneur. Any startup, what exactly and how to go about it? There, the role of the government machineries also come, like DIC and lot of other organizations are there which can handhold and see that. There are evolving fintech companies. Then as rightly told by, so the challenge here is to reach exist, and there are new startups. So the whole ecosystem is like that, where I think lot of in facilitation. I think, am I audible, sir? There is some problem.
Yeah, problem.
If you have a presentation, you can share with us. If you have a presentation, directly share with us.
And I request all other
I
people
think
to switch off their videos. You also switch
Yeah,
off.
switch it off.
Run your screens.
I think I have my bandwidth says low. 1 second, I will check.
No, ఆయన presentation షేర్ చేయమన్నాడు, అదే చూసి మనం చదువుకోగలం.
Yes.
మాట్లాడితే సరిగా రావట్లేదు.
Sir, share your screen, sir.
Share your screen. Share your screen. Your
Okay.
time is only 10 minutes.
Some problem happened, I think.
Again, joint meeting, sir. Cut off there. No, no. Okay. No problem. Joint meeting. ID is it? 7531. No, joint meeting, joint meeting.
So sorry, I think. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Divisional manager.
Yes, share this form. Share screen, yeah. Share screen, yeah.
ఇక్కడ వస్తా అన్నాడు కదా ఇప్పుడు
Am I audible now, sir?
audible and visible also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sorry for all inconveniences, sir.
No issues.
You can
Yeah.
switch off your mobile, otherwise it is giving resound.
Yeah, I think that's put it off, sir. Already done it actually.
Yeah. You can move the slides.
Yeah. So, sir, since I am representing Canara Bank, give me a couple of minutes for, sir, Canara Bank, we have made some initiative under the MSME during this financial year. So as per the top management corporate call, the year has been declared a year of retail and recovery, retail under liability asset, but talking on assets, we are pushing for the RAM, retail, agri and MSME growth. The MSME growth has been a muted 2.1%, and the challenges, imminent challenges, which I think everybody spoke today about it. And initiatives have been taken by Canara Bank at various levels to see that the MSME growth happens. We have set up a new scheme for startups, co-lending platform, lending card we have recently signed up for making the MSME funding available up to 10 lakhs on the very same day. Some initiatives of the supply chain have also been made by the Canara Bank this year. Vertical setup. So we have like to facilitate and make the credit, MSME credit easily and fastly available. MSME hubs have been set up at all regional levels. So earlier it was at circle level, so it has been made at regional levels. Various schemes, two beautiful schemes under health sector have been brought out, sir, which I'll be sharing during the presentation. And also we have onboarded various fintech companies for partnering and identifying the MSME units. So various customized software programs have also been made by Canara Bank, tailor-made products, I would say, and suiting to all needs. So that also I'll be presenting, sir. So, and rest because time is short. So there were a few other courses which we would discuss, but I think I'll go with the slides, sir. And my colleague, Mr. Srinivas, also will be assisting me through this slide presentation. So I'm going ahead with my slide presentation. Next. Yeah. Yeah. You can start. You can sit. Yeah. You can also- yeah.
Sir, here, see, role of MSME in achieving 5 trillion economy for India by 24-25, sir, 2024 and 25. In the recently meeting, the statement given by our Union Minister, Mr. Hardeep Singh Puri, has categorically mentioned this by India. We are confident that we are definitely we are going to achieve 5 trillion economy for India by 24-25. And in that context only, government is taking various initiatives through public sector banks and other forums also. So definitely, sir, Rao sir has mentioned in his speech also, pandemic has given a different this thing, and major hit for this one pandemic is traveling, tourism, hotel industry. These industries are worst hit segment. So taking into account of this pandemic to outcome this this one, so government has given a restructuring of loan facility as well as a moratorium facility and additional working capital limits by way of the guaranteed emergency credit line, that is GECL. So by way of GECL, as a banks have extended without asking any collateral security.
We will be sending the slides.
Sir, we'll be sending the slides, sir. I think that program is getting delayed. I'm sending the slides to Adil, sir. And thank you for giving us an opportunity, sir, to present.
మ్యూట్ చేశారు మిగతా హాస్టల్.
Thank you, Mr. Ananta Jilanaji. I request our Dr. Venkat Subbai Garu kindly to introduce our stalwart special guest, Engineer K. Sudhir Reddy Garu, President of Telangana Industrial Federation, to the virtual audience. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So Mr. Kondaviti Sudhir Reddy is a BTech graduate in civil engineering from JNTU College, Hyderabad. After completion of engineering, he served as a lecturer for 14 long years. With a zeal to work independently and to provide employment, he established an industry in the year 1996 in Hyderabad. Mr. Sudhir Reddy was instrumental in mobilizing the support of MSME, industrialists, and employees but a separate statehood movement. Sudhir Reddy stood in forefront to form a common platform for all the industrialists and established Telangana Industrialist Federation (TIF) 2009 to support the cause and became part and parcel of every movement carried by TJAC under the banner of TIF. He has also served as president of Cherlapalli Industries Association and became a part and parcel of the rapid progress of the association in all aspects. Mr. Sudhir Reddy also served as secretary and chairman of Industrial Area Local Authority, IDA, Cherlapalli. Coming to the professional credentials, served as a director, Telangana State Industrial Health Clinic from 2019 to 2021. Presently, he is holding the post, the following posts, such as President Telangana Industrialist Federation (TIF), Managing Director TIF Integrated Industrial Parks Private Limited, Managing Director MS Kinetic Organics and Plastics Private Limited, Member Advisory Committee of Telangana State Electricity Regulatory Commission, Member GST Redressal Committee, Member of State Level Scrutiny Committee, Department of Industries. His contributions to growth of MSMEs are regularizing private industry estates like Geeta Nagar, Nausivan Nagar, etc. with the TSIIC, getting land allocation from TSIIC for micro units of Kushai Guda, saving the entrepreneurs from attempting suicide due to financial problems, getting uninterrupted power supplies to IEs, helping the industries to run smoothly during COVID-19. So thank you, sir. Now I invite Mr. Sudhir Reddy Garu to present, to address the gathering.
Thank you, Venkat Subbai Garu, for your nice introduction. The chief guest of today's program, Mr. Ram Yadav Garu, distinguished scientist and director DRDL, and also the distinguished speakers of today, Mr. Srinivas Rao Garu, Jaitirth Joshi Garu, Anant Jalona Garu, and Mr. Dr. Satyanarayana Garu, Brahma Reddy Garu, Venkat Subbai Garu, and the dignitaries who are on the virtual meeting from Institute of Engineering members, Executive Council members, and also the industrialists from various industrial parts of Telangana. Good evening, everybody. I am honored to be here today to talk about the role of MSMEs in achieving the $5 trillion economy for India. I am really honored to be here among all the distinguished guests and chief guests. Basically, I am representing Telangana Industries Federation as a president, and I have been into industry for the last 25 years in the MSME sector. As an MSME man, it is my privilege to share my experiences and also the problems faced by the MSME and how the MSME can contribute to the economy of India in a large scale manner. So basically, the objective of today's program is how to reach this $5 trillion economy and what is the role of MSMEs in reaching to this $5 trillion economy for India. So basically, you all know already my earlier speakers, Mr. Srinivas Rao Garu and the scientists from DRDL have given an insight of the entire MSME scenario and also the opportunities to MSME in defense sector and defense laboratories and also in the defense establishments. And they are really useful to the MSME sector. And today, the reaching to $5 trillion economy is a big challenge, and MSME role is definitely a great role it plays in this. And you all know that MSME sector contributes almost to the 30% of the GDP of the country, and also it contributes around 50% of the exports of the entire industrial production, and it is the largest provider of employment. The total network of the MSME industry is around, as you all said, it is around 6 crore MSME units all over the country, providing around 12 crores employment to the country, nation. So the MSME role is very important in achieving this economy. And when it comes to the problems or the challenges faced by the MSME, there are three important challenges. To achieve this $1 trillion, $5 trillion economy, the important challenges faced by the MSME sector is, one is the skill levels of our youth. The second one is the cost of doing business. And the third one is ease of doing business. These are the three important things which we can group all the challenges into these three categories. When it comes to the ease of doing business, you all know that there are one industry with less than 500 employees. It has to comply with around 750 compliances, 68 acts, and there are so many other things to do. So which is very highly impossible for a MSME sector. For MSME sector, it is highly impossible to comply with the regulations, statutory regulations imposed by the state, central government, and local governments. So that is a big challenge before the MSMEs. Keeping in view this only, the central government, Mr. Narendra Modi, and in collaboration with World Bank of India, World Bank, they have come out with some norms for ease of doing business rankings to the states. And here I will mention you that Telangana government has performed well in ease of doing business, and it has been in the first 2 ranks for the last many years. So the ease of doing, they have tried to transform, they have tried to reduce the compliances, and most of them are made online, and nearly around 100 GOs are issued by the government of Telangana, and most of the complaints are now done away. That is one important thing. So the first challenge faced by the MSMEs. Now the compliances are reduced, and the inspections and other things are once in 2 years, once in 3 years it is made. The second one is you all know that India is one of the largest populated, second largest populated country, almost having 141 crores of people here. And the most important aspect is India has the youngest population in the entire world. 65% of the Indian population is below the age of 35 years. It is below the age of 35 years. So the demographic dividends from this largest group of youngest youth definitely will achieve the target given by the nation, that is $5 trillion economy, dollar economy. So the demographic dividends will definitely help. The economic growth resulting out of the age group, this age group will be very high, and this will definitely help in reaching the $5 trillion economy. Highlighted by the earlier speakers about the MSME contribution and the MSME challenges. But as a MSME man, I'm into industry for the last 25 years. I have some practical problems which I have to bring it to the notice of the forum or attention of the forum. So the central government during this COVID pandemic, the MSME has suffered a lot. And the central government has come out with a package, Atmanirbhar Bharat package. But I'm sorry to say that 1 out of the 6 only are benefited by this package. Because as our earlier speaker told, almost out of 6 crores of MSMEs here, only 1 crore are registered. That means the other 5 crores are in the informal sector. They are not neither registered with the government, they are neither registered with other regulatory authorities. That is the major challenge we are facing. So that is one of the problems the MSME is facing. And when it comes to the ease of doing, cost of doing business, when it comes to cost of doing business, majority of the industries, in cost of doing business, what happens when it comes to liquidity problems we are facing. The liquidity problem is when we supply to public sector bank, public sector organizations, state government undertakings and central government undertakings, the delayed payments comes into picture. As per the MSMED Act, you all know that the payment should be done within 45 days. But none of the government departments comply with this statutory requirement of the MSME Act. And central government has come out with some facilitation councils, which can redress the problems of the facilitation councils headed by the Commissioner of Industries. And in these facilitation councils, the delayed payments will be taken up and they will pass an award. If the award is not complied with by the government organizations or undertaking organizations, it cannot do anything. So ultimately, you have to go to court of law. Again, it takes years together to get the payments. So what we are demanding is from the MSME organizations, certain teeth should be provided to the facilitation councils. If teeth are provided to the facilitation councils, it can take up, it can bring them to task, and if they take them to task and see that the payments are done to the MSME industry. So this because of this, the liquidity problems are coming to the industry. The funds are blocked in supplies. In delayed payments, the funds are blocked. Thereby, they are becoming NPS. And the second thing is, every time we say that the MSME should grow up to the standards of the international and we should supply to the export to the different countries and take it as a challenge. But how can we do that? If there is a level playing field, exports internationally, this level playing platform has to be created by the governments by regulating the banks and asking the banks to provide the interest at a reasonably affordable rate and comparable to the international markets with whom we are competing. So these things are to be done. And when it comes to, you all know, this country is facing a lot of unemployment problem. It is around 8.5% as of now. For the last 3 years, it is at peak. It is around 8.5% is the unemployment rate. And one side we are telling the MSMEs, we want to go for upgrade up to $5 trillion economy. And the other side, there are a lot of people unemployed in the country. And you all know the ratio of when it comes to MSMEs. Today, just now, I saw one clipping in the news. Microsoft is coming to Hyderabad with 15,000 crores of investment in Telangana. And what is the employment it is providing? 300 members. But when it comes to MSME sector, the ratio of capital to output, the ratio of capital to labor is very, very low. That means with 1 crore of investment in an MSME sector, we can create around 20 employments. 20 people can be employed. With the same, suppose if a bigger company is coming with 1,500 crores or 15,000 crores of investment, how much employment it is giving? Only 500. So the ratio of labor to capital is very, very low in MSME sector. That means it provides the employment to the nation at a lesser cost, at a lesser capital cost. So the government has considered this factor as an important one and encourage the MSME, because we are taking the social responsibility of the government in providing the employment. Government has to provide, government jobs cannot be provided to all the people of the nation. So ultimately the MSME sector has to come into picture and MSME has to provide the employment. So the only sector which can provide employment after agriculture is MSME sector, and this has to be encouraged in all aspects. And when it comes to skill development, one side the employers, the industries are facing shortage of skilled labor. The other side, the youth are facing short of jobs. So there is a mismatch between the MSME sector and the skilled youth who are unemployed. So there is a mismatch between these two things. This has to be addressed immediately. For this, already the central government has taken up and many skill missions and other things, but ultimately it is not resulting in anything. So what I am asking is, let the industry associations, let the MSME entrepreneur decide what type of skills he requires. Accordingly, the skill development programs have to be taken up, but that is not happening. So most of the skill development programs are just going waste, which is not useful to the industry. So the industry associations should be made part and they should decide instead of supply side, instead of supply side thing, they have to go for a demand side. So what is the skill level required for my industry, and I will decide, and our associations or trade association, trade bodies can come forward and develop some modules, custom made modules, which are suitable for the MSME sector. So that can be done. Only that mismatch is removed, then only the local youth will get the employment in MSME sector. And that's how the central government also can shed off its responsibility about providing jobs to the local youth. These are some of the important things when it comes to this thing. And the second thing in skill development programs is, you might have seen, the number of engineering colleges are increasing like anything. Every same time, the ITIs and polytechnics are coming down. These numbers are coming down. So it is in the reverse pyramid direction. So actually, for one engineer, we need 4 polytechnic diploma graduate, diploma holders, and 8 ITI students. That is how the ratio is required in the industry. 1:4:8 approximately. But now it is 8:4:1. 8 engineers are there, 4 diploma holders are there, only 1 ITI person is available. All the ITIs are closed. They are not upgraded. They are not technically sound. There are no staff, no laboratories, no faculty. So because of all these things, the ITIs are closed, and right now we are facing a problem that it is easy for me to get an engineer for employment than getting a ITI diploma, ITI student. So that is how the reverse pyramid structure is going on. That has to be planned properly by the policy. As a policy matter, it has to be taken up. If it is not taken up as a policy matter, just like that, if you leave to the management, they will increase the seats as per their profitability and other things. That's how it is taking place. So that skill development should be one of the important criteria for reaching this $5 trillion economy. And at the same time, when it comes to Telangana state or to the different states, so each state has its own resources. Each state has its own inherent strengths built up over a period of years. So in that case, the central government, when it is coming to announcing the corridors, national corridors or manufacturing zones, they should consider the strengths of each state. Otherwise, what happens? The strength of the states is strength of the nation. So unless the states are opportunities accordingly, then what happens, we will not be in a competitive position with the international market. So that's how for example, when you consider this national defense corridor, Telangana is the right size actually. Here, for the years together, there are so many apex laboratories working on defense. There are so many laboratories, DRDL, DLRL, RCI, Nidani, ordnance factories. There are so many things, and so many public sector undertakings are there. Similarly, we have a ecosystem here, already defense ecosystem is there. A lot of 3,000 MSMEs are working in the defense space. And similarly, there are private companies, of late they have made Hyderabad made their town place for manufacturing, Lockheed and other things. So in such cases, if you take this as a corridor, countries, and even as you said, the people coming from outside, they can source their materials from these corridors. So the central government has to consider all these aspects. Similarly, Hyderabad is a hub for pharma sector. 35% of the exports, 35% of the total production of the country is made from Hyderabad. And 60% of the vaccines are made in Hyderabad. But we are not in a position to get a SEZ status, national manufacturing status for our pharmaceutical. So the political compulsion should take backseat, political things should take backseat, and it has to only go by the strengths of the local governance, local governments. Then only we can compete in the world market, and we can only we can achieve the desired 5 trillion economy for our India. So these are some of the things. And when it comes to the Telangana state, because we are now in Telangana state, so the Telangana is the 4th largest contributor to the economy of the country, though it is 11th largest place geographically and 12th largest state demographically, population wise. But still it is contributing it is in the 4th place, 4th largest contributor to the economy. So Telangana has a lot of new innovative policies that brought TSI pass policy. And with that, most of the investors are now looking at Telangana, and it is in a central place. A lot of opportunities are there for MSMEs to grow here, and definitely Telangana will be. These are some of the aspects about how to reach this 5 trillion economy. And finally, I wish to compliment the Institute of Engineers, Hyderabad chapter, Telangana chapter, for taking the subject of MSMEs as a priority and organizing series of lectures on this, because MSMEs, everybody talks about MSMEs, but nobody does anything for MSMEs. So everybody has to now take up this as a challenge, and like Institute of Engineers has come forward, and our defense establishments have come forward to provide a lot of opportunities for MSMEs. And there is a nice presentation about the insight into the defense requirements, defense procedures, how to register as vendors, and how to upgrade ourselves. A lot of insights are given for this. And
series of
this is a series of lectures. And hope Institute of Engineers will come forward further, and we will be glad to associate with the Institute of Engineers in taking up this class. And I once again thank all the participants, and also for giving this opportunity to me. I thank you one and all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your excellent educating
Go there.
address, and really so worth knowing all what are the major challenges the MSMEs are facing in different issues like skill development and doing business and cost of space, all those things. And you have also nicely described what is the mismatch, how it is happening between the industry itself, that is like the job employment as well as the skill development, and also between the governments and the opportunities available in the states and the government. As you said, the center should recognize the potentiality of the place at the state without any other compulsions, as you mentioned about political or whatever it is. So I really, it's worth talk to listen. Thank you for your address, sir. Thank you once again, Sudhir Reddy garu.
We will, now the next thing is felicitation.
For 5 minutes.
It is visible going there.
Yes.
Because it is a big hall.
Okay.
Some people will be.
Corrected. You are able to see? नहीं दिख रहा। Visible. Purchase.
First citation, then. It is here. Please.
Good evening, sir. I request Dr. Jaideep Joshi garu to kindly read out the citation of our today's chief guest, Dr. Dasrath Ram Yadav sir.
On behalf of Institute of Engineers, as a fellow of Institution of Engineers, Institute of Engineers is felicitating Dr. Dasrath Ram and MSME, Telangana Federation of Industries. Dr. Dasrath Ram, distinguished scientist and director, DRDL. The citation reads as follows. Dr. Dasrath Ram Yadav, FI Fellow of Institute of Engineers, distinguished scientist, has been appointed as director of DRDL Hyderabad in 2018. He graduated with gold medal from Motilal Nehru Engineering College, Allahabad in the year 1984. He did his master's degree in advanced manufacturing technology from Cranefield Institute of Technology, UK in the year 1992 and PhD in production engineering from Bharatiya University, Coimbatore. He has more than 35 years of rich experience in prototype fabrication of missile hardware, manufacturing process and technology development. He established state-of-art manufacturing facility at DRDL He has significantly contributed in technology transfer, productionization of missile hardware like propulsion and airframes to industries. He was responsible for setting up of large size hypersonic wind tunnel facility at DRDL Hyderabad, which is the state of art. It's the first of its kind in the world. This facility is very unique, and wind tunnel testing can be done from Mach number 5.5 to 12. He also served as program director of BrahMos and developed various missile hardware systems and built integration infrastructure for BrahMos missile system. He is a recipient of Swarna Jayanti Award for Aeronautical Society of India. He has published more than 40 papers, the international journals and conferences. He is a fellow of Indian National Academy of Engineering, Aeronautical Society of India, Institute of Engineers, Telangana Academy of Sciences, Indian Institute of Production Engineers, and member of various other societies. Currently, he is leading DRDL Hyderabad and guiding and supervising in developing more than 20 projects related to guided missiles. DRDL being a systems development laboratory, he emphasizes timely execution of projects with special focus on quality. With his experience, he is playing a major role in transforming DRDL into a powerful missile development laboratory, providing state-of-art missile systems to the country. In recognition of his tireless service to the nation, legacy of hard work, dedication, and outstanding contributions in the field of engineering, design, development, and realization of indigenous technologies in missile systems for defense, the Institute of Engineers India, Telangana State Center hereby felicitates Dr. Darshat Ram Yadav, Distinguished Scientist and Director DRDL, Hyderabad, on 20th January 2022. By Dr. S. Satyanarayana, FI, Convener, Subaya, Honorary Secretary, B. Brahman Reddy, FI Chairman. You can sit, sir. Hey, zoom kar.
Sir, please join us. Please, sir. Sir, Gopal. Speakers, sir. Speakers, please. You come. We'll continue here. We'll continue here. Yeah, we'll continue here. Now you can speak.
Yeah. Last program, I think, sir. Memento, last piece.
Before what? If anybody wants to, felicitate Director DRDL, we can come and felicitate. About 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You can do.
We will not read much of the things, as everybody in the country knows what is Dr. Darshat Ram. Dr. Darshat Ram, Distinguished Scientist and Director DRDL. You have always been an inspiration to all of us, sir. We thank you for your optimism, kindness, and mentorship. This is from T. Mullah Singh.
Anybody, any other one by one, they can do.
As a token of appreciation for his supply production completion.
Hello. Good evening. Question.
Sir, may I request the today's chief guest, Dr. Ram Yadav sir, distinguished scientist and director DRL, kindly address the gathering of this virtual event. Sir.
Engineer B. Brahmareddy, Dr. Satyanarayana, Dr. K. Srinivasarao, Dr. Joshi, I think Sri Anant Jalwana may be there, Engineer K. Sudhir Reddy, Dr. G. Venkat Subbiya. Good afternoon to all of you. I think it is a great honor for me to receiving this citation as well as facilitation from Institute of Engineers. I was associated with this local chapter, and although I due to not getting much of time, I was not able to contribute, but it is I am really honored to receive what are the citation and other things we have done. On that, the situation is not good, and in the such a short notice, you people had organized a seminar, and I think it is very relevant, and I sat here and listen all the speakers very, I think all are very knowledgeable, and a lot of compiled data has given in that, and as for a local chapter, it is doing a lot of good jobs, and I think sometime I talked to Dr. S. Satyanarayana how he gets so much energy to do all these things, and being an industrialist, and he run the industry, and I used to know him quite a long time. So this chapter is really very active and doing so many surveys and bringing industry and maybe academia and a lot of R&D things. I want to really thank each and everyone who had come here and part of facilitation and part of this conference and seminar. A special thank to Dr. Joshi with this situation, how he has managed these things. Actually, between you and me, I told him, let us not do because situations are not so good enough. Later we'll see anytime you can go, but he has somehow I had cancelled many events. He told, no sir, we'll go ahead. He himself had a problem last week or something like that, and things are not so good. So still I am really honored to receive all these things. Thank you very much. I will be always available for you people. Thank you.
Now I request Engineer B. Brahmareddy, FIE, Chairman IEI TSC, to present a memento to Dr. K. Srinivasarao. I request S. Satyanarayana.
There is a small felicitation to our guest, today's guest. He is a president of the Telangana Industries Federation. I will request our chairman to state. Sir, let him. Let the honors be done by our directors. Please.
Now I request Engineer B. Brahmareddy to present a memento to our today's speaker, Dr. K. Srinivasarao.
Sir, please come.
Come. Yeah.
request is Satyanarayana Garu. Request Kumareddy Garu to present a memento to the next speaker, Dr. Jaydeep R. Joshi Garu. Please, sir. Also request our chairman, Kumareddy Garu, to present a memento to Engineer K. Sudhir Reddy Garu. Now I request Engineer Kumareddy Garu and S. Satyanarayana Garu to present a memento to our chief guest.
So through the hands of.
Dasarath Ram Yadav Garu. I request all the speakers also, please stand, sir.
I request Dr. Venkata Subbaiah Garu, the Honorary Secretary, kindly to propose a.
No, before that, there is a small event. As a token of respect and love towards the industry, I request Director DRDL to do the small felicitation to all the dignitaries who have graced this occasion from Institute of Engineers and Telangana Institute of Telangana Industries Federation. So.
I will read out the names.
I can
You
read
have
out.
the names?
Memories.
First, Sudhir Reddy Garu, President. Telangana Industries Federation. Gopal Rai Garu, Secretary, Telangana Industries Federation. Kumareddy Garu. Kumareddy Garu. Guest speaker, Srinivas Raja.
Dr. S. Satyanarayana Garu, main architect.
You might have contributed something in this.
Yeah, you have to definitely say. No, not actually. Lot of things are there. Many people who are manufacturers of this one, he has cleared them in the interview board. That you may have forgotten.
Here, give a lot of training.
Training also. CITD.
Next. Subbaiah.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I request Dr. Venkata Subbaiah Garu to kindly propose a vote of thanks.
Respected chief guest, Dr. Dasarath Ram Yadav, FIE, distinguished scientist and director, DRDL Hyderabad. Special guest, Engineer K. Sudhir Reddy, President, Telangana Industrialist Federation. Speakers, Dr. K. Srinivasa Rao, Professor, Indian Institute of Risk Management, Hyderabad. Dr. Jaydeep R. Joshi, FIE, Program Leader, DRDO, Hyderabad. Sri Anant Jalona, Regional Manager, Canara Bank, Hyderabad. Engineer B. Brahma Reddy, FIE, Chairman IEI Telangana State Center. Dr. S. Satyanarayana, FIE, Council Member, FIE, Past Chairman, IEI TSC, and convener of today's event. Krishnamurthy Garu, our past committee member of IEI TSC, galaxy of eminent personalities, past presidents, past chairmen, council members, committee members of IEI TSC, corporate members, media friends, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all of you. On behalf of the Telangana State Center of IEI and on my own behalf, I convey our sincere and profound thanks to the chief guest, Dr. Dasarath Yadav, FIE, distinguished scientist and director, DRDL, Hyderabad. I also extend my heartfelt thanks to the special guest, Engineer K. Sudhir Reddy, President, Telangana Industrialist Federation, the speakers, Dr. K. Srinivasa Rao, Professor, Indian Institute of Risk Management, Dr. Jayadit R. Joshi, FIE, Program Leader, Kusha, DRDO, and Sri Anant Jalona, Regional Manager, Canara Bank, Hyderabad. I also thank the dignitaries, past presidents of IEI, past chairman of IEI TSC, past honorary secretaries of IEI TSC, council members, committee members, corporate members, and others who made it convenient to attend this event. I also thank the representatives of media if present. Thanks to one and all. Now I request all of you. Yes, sir, and very importantly, and we have to thank the DRDO for giving a wonderful opportunity to conduct this program at the DRDO, and it remains one landmark for IEI, sir. I think this is maybe the first event of IEI conducted in DRDO. Thank you very much for Dasarath sir and all the team who have helped us and made it a grand success. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And I request all of you, please raise for. Yes, sir. We will close that one, sir. Meeting presentation. Yes. Close the program.